Have you ever felt completely confused by an avoidant partner's behavior? It's getting close one moment, then a sudden withdrawal. It is like playing a game where the rules keep changing. But here's the thing, you can work through this. What if you could unlock the secret to connecting with them? And even better, what if you could understand how they show love, even if it does not look like what you would expect? In this video, I collected a few general rules to how connect with an avoidant partner or to how to understand them better. Because maybe you yourself exhibit certain traits of a avoidant attachment style. But before we dive in, take a moment to hit that like button. Every video here is a step toward a powerful transformation, and big changes are built out of small steps. So if you're ready to build deeper, healthier connections with your partner or with yourself, this video is for you. So rule number 1, do not chase your avoidant partner. Individuals with an avoidant attachment style often feel uncomfortable or really threatened when someone gets too close. What feels like a normal level of closeness to one person may feel overwhelming to someone with an avoidant attachment style. This is because they often see emotional intimacy as a potential threat to their independence and personal space. The mechanism behind avoidant attachment is rooted in deep fear of rejection. Individuals with this attachment style have learned to cope with this fear by rejecting or devaluing any of their needs that are related to others, especially emotional needs. Basically, if I do not need you, then you cannot reject me. And that's how they become dependent on independence. They may push away any desire for closeness because in their minds, it represents a loss of control. When this response is triggered, intimacy doesn't feel like connection or source of comfort as it would be for someone with a secure attachment style. For them, it feels like surrendering control over themselves, which of course stirs up intense anxiety. So once this response to closeness is triggered in them, if you chase them, right, when they start distancing, you will only cause them pulling further away to protect themselves. And remember that happens subconsciously. It's not that's something that they do intentionally. Respect their space, and they may start to feel safe enough to come closer on their own terms. Rule number 2. Do not take this distance personally. And this can be so challenging because as people in general, we often interpret others' behavior as a reflection of something that we have done. And this can be especially difficult if you yourself have an anxious attachment style, because while closeness triggers anxiety for someone with an avoidant attachment style, distance triggers anxiety for someone with an anxious attachment style. And it immediately creates tough dynamic where one person pulls away to feel safe while the other feels insecure and abandoned. And that creates a cycle that is really hard to break. When they pull away, it's not a reflection of you. It's a defense mechanism. Their fear of losing themselves in a relationship can cause them to distance themselves to feel secure. And it's tempting to kind of start chasing that closeness once you feel that they're distance themselves, but do not try to force it. Instead, allow them the space they need and give them the freedom to come back when they are ready. Rule number 3, learn to ask for what you need. It is easy to feel hesitant or even embarrassed to ask for what you want, and we're all afraid to hear a no. But it is essential for any relationships. Be clear with your needs while acknowledging their needs as well. And it's important to have this balance. So basically, if you prioritize their needs, that's dependency. And if you prioritize your needs over theirs, then that is selfishness. Believing that your happiness as equally important as theirs sets you up for ability to overcome the obstacle in relationship and maintain this balance when you are happy and your partner is also happy. So once you identify what you need, you can start a dialogue discussing how both of you can find a balance between your both needs in a way that it works for both of you. And you can use simple phrases that I would like that you do this or that, or it would be awesome if you do this or that. It's in any relationship, it's so important not to make another person guess about what is important for you. Next rule is not to issue ultimatums. Nobody likes ultimatums in general, but especially avoidance. And that only increases their fear of being controlled. Instead of forcing a decision, again, create a space where both of you can feel safe discussing your needs. Ultimatums only add pressure, and patience and understanding. That takes more time. That's also sometimes more difficult. But those two things create trust and stronger connection. Next rule is reinforce positive behavior. Without even noticing, we tend to give negative feedback to an overgeneralization. We don't even think about it twice because it's so easy to be focused on negative things or things that threaten us. But everyone, even an avoidant, responds really well to positive reinforcement. When they do something that makes you feel loved or grateful or happy, acknowledge it. Whether it is a simple thank you or a loving gesture, reinforce behaviors that bring two of you closer together. And it will help them feel more confident in the relationship. And general rule, what you focus on grows. So stop fighting and start reinforcing what you like. Next rule is be reliable even if it is hard. It is important for avoidance because they probably already have a history, or when they distance themselves, or where the previous partner felt disappointed and that didn't end too well. So they might be overly alert. But if you show consistency with following through on your promises and communicating any changes early, this is how trust is built for them, because they learn that you would communicate if something goes wrong, and that helps them relax. Avoidants tend to have a fear of being let down, so reliability is crucial. Follow through on your promises, and if something changes, communicate it early. Consistency is really key here, and it builds the trust that is essential for them to feel secure in the relationship. The next rule is to slow down. Avoidants need to develop attachments at a much slower pace. If you feel like you are rushing, take a step back and allow things to unfold naturally. Give them time. Do not try to force the connection or to move faster than they are comfortable with, because it only will trigger them to distance themselves. Rule number 8, focus on your own life. And I think it's the main secret for any relationship, and especially to the secret to pulling an avoidant partner out of their shell. Live your best life. In general, everyone is drawn to high energy and excitement, not dependence or boredom. And if you focus on your own passions and happiness, they will be more likely to engage with you in a fulfilling way. Rule number 9, express emotions cautiously. While you absolutely should express your feelings, do not overwhelm them with too much emotion too quickly. Keep it calm, keep it loving, and keep it open. Avoidance may retreat when faced with high emotional intensity, so be mindful of how you express yourself. Try to avoid guilting your partner. Sometimes when we are have intense emotions, it's easy for us to start thinking that I feel bad, so this means that somebody makes me feel bad, or I feel scared, that means something does something that scares me. But we often feel something because that is just the presence just reminds us of the past traumas, and they just kind of like initiate those feelings in us, but they are not the reason for those feelings. And it's really good to use the I structure when we communicate this. It's basically you just showing your partner your inner world and what's happening inside of you without making them responsible for your feelings. So use the structure of I message. This means when you say, I feel this or that way when you do this or that. That would be a good starting point for communicating your feelings. Rule number 10, appreciate their efforts. If your avoidant partner is making an effort, whether it is reaching out or staying engaged or being present, acknowledge it. Their efforts might not be grand gestures or those epic changes over the night, but they are significant. Any changes for us, especially emotional changes, psychological changes, are like when you teach a child to make their bed. And you would not expect a child to make it perfectly right away, but you're going to show it again and again until a child gets it. And that's how changes happen when we're adults as well. Changes within your partner and changes within yourself. I always say that self-love or love is like willingness to do a routine of teaching yourself something that your significant adult in your childhood didn't do. So when you ask for changes in someone, be patient with it. And recognizing small contributions can help foster a deeper connection. Not everything is going to work out immediately, but changes happen in small steps. And if the partner is given an effort, that means that they are invested in this relationship. Rule number 11, understand their background. Avoidants often carry baggage from past relationships, including childhood experiences. Understanding doesn't mean carrying their luggage, and it means the same as you should not dump your past hurts on them. If you constantly bring up your past traumas, it might trigger their fear of being overwhelmed. Work on your own healing so it doesn't affect your relationship with them. Rule number 12, don't try to fix them or to save them. It is tempting to think, if I just love them enough, they will change. But that mindset is harmful. Avoidants, like everyone else, need to evolve on their own. Focus on building a healthy, balanced partnership, not on fixing them. Closeness is when you do not try change another person, when you accept them as they are and don't try to fill any gaps inside yourself with the relationship or with your partner. Rule number 13, set the boundaries early on. If you are an anxious attachment style, then boundaries might feel scary because you're most likely, there is usually a common confusion for anxious attachment style. People that their boundaries means separation or distance or rejections. But the lack of boundaries always cause anger, because if there are no boundaries, subconsciously it always feels like uncertainty. And anything uncertain feels like danger, and that always causes anger. And that's like a subconscious thing that's going on. You can make the list of what is acceptable for you or what is unacceptable for you, so you don't have to think on the spot. Next rule is Know your own attachment style and know your own insecurities. Understanding your own attachment style is key to building a healthier relationship. If you know your triggers and your own patterns, you'll be better equipped to navigate the relationship and also communicate it. Avoidants often have an anxious attachment style that can surface during times of stress. So be mindful of that dynamic. Next rule is know when to walk away. Sometimes the hardest but most powerful decision is to let go. If your partner is not willing to meet your needs, is not working on themselves, is not trying to provide the safety you need in the relationship, well, it's just might be the time to reconsider. Do not be afraid to let go of what is not serving you. Remember that you are building a relationship with a person, not with their potential, not with that one day it will be all right and one day it will work out, but with this exact person here and now. And if your person, that person is not ready to work on creating safety and consistency in relationship, and for you, their distancing causes you pain, then it might just mean that this avoidant person has not reached the stage in their personal development when they are ready to work on their relationships and on themselves. That's pretty much about all common rules for today. But let's talk about when an avoidant partner shows love. It may not always be obvious or kind of traditional, but it's really important to notice those things. Avoidants often express affection in more subtle ways, such as sharing deep emotions. When they open up, like that means so much. When they start talking about their vulnerabilities and about their needs. The next sign is when they introduce you to close ones, including their inner circle of friends or family. That this really indicates that they want you in their life. Pay attention to nonverbal gestures, like physical gestures like hugs or holding hands. Any efforts to stay connected is a great sign, because if they make an effort to maintain contact despite their need for personal space, this really means that they invested in relationship. When they address your doubts. Oh, that's huge, because when they try to listen to your concerns and try to understand you, that also is a subtle but very powerful sign that they invested in relationship. If you've made this far in this video, take a moment to thank yourself, because you've just invested in your own growth and taken a powerful step toward healthier relationships. Remember, personal growth is a journey and every step counts. Now take a moment to reflect on the insights that you have gained today, and don't forget, working with yourself, working with your emotions, working towards understanding yourself better. It is like your mental gym. It's like going to the gym. Just like any workout, progress takes time, and it's worth celebrating every step of the way. Come back next time, and let's keep building on this progress together. Keep growing, keep thriving, and take care of your heart. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe for more insights.